plenty and plenty of claims for the best chocolate recipe. I totally get it, but I will say that with one bite of this decadent, moist chocolate cake with the most incredible chocolate frosting with a secret little ingredient, every single person you know is going to comment that they can't believe that this cake doesn't have junk in it. Are you guys ready to make the best grain-free, sugar-free chocolate cake recipe ever? Metabolic Living family, it's Bella here, your lead nutritionist and recipe developer at Metabolic Living. I am so excited to be sharing with you this absolutely delicious recipe. Now, this is actually a favorite in my family and has been for many years. It's been used for birthdays, holidays, and even bridal showers. So without further ado, let's get going. You are going to need for this recipe 3 cups of almond flour. You're going to need 1 cup of tapioca flour. Now you can also use arrowroot, whatever your preference is. Over here we've got a 1/4 cup of coconut flour. And then in this bowl we have 2 cups of sweetener. Now you can use whatever sweetener you feel most comfortable with in your family, whether that's coconut sugar. Here I'm actually using a Swerve sweetener, which is a low carb sweetener. As I said though, guys, feel free to sub in whatever you fancy. Just make sure it's like a granulated one rather than a liquid. In here, this is what makes this cake so delish. 1½ cups of raw cacao powder, not the sweetened stuff with the milk and all sorts. And then on this little plate, we have got 2 teaspoons of baking soda. We've got 1 teaspoon, maybe a little bit more because I kind of like the coffee, of espresso powder. And then over here, we've got 1 teaspoon of sea salt. I like to use Himalayan sea salt. We're going to also be popping in 4 large eggs. As always, just a little reminder, try and buy pasture-raised and organic if possible. In this cup, not sure if you can see, hopefully you can, we've got 1½ cup of full fat coconut milk, the stuff that comes in a can. Over here, we've got just 1 cup of filtered water. In this funky thing, we have 1/2 cup of coconut oil melted. In this little cup, we have 1 tablespoon of yogurt. Now, you can use apple cider vinegar here. Either way, you're not going to taste it. What it's going to help to do is do a chemical reaction with the baking soda and make our cakes rise and look very beautiful, just like, you know, the fluffy cakes at the store full of all sorts of stuff. And then lastly, we have some vanilla extract. We're going to actually be using 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. And those are your ingredients. So without further ado, let's get baking. What you're going to do is grab a large bowl. Now I'm going to be using my KitchenAid today. Actually, maybe I'll try doing this with just a spoon so you can see that, of course, it is possible with just a spoon. But anyway, get a large bowl or a KitchenAid bowl. And what you're going to do is pop in your dry ingredients. So we're going to throw in the almond flour going in there. Tapioca, again, arrowroot if you fancy. Our coconut flour. And then we are also going to put in our sweetener. So easy. This is a really great one for new bakers. There's no fanciness involved. Just pop them all in a bowl and mix them up. This is our cocoa powder going in there. And then we have our espresso powder, our baking soda, and our sea salt. So pour all of that in. My lovely coffee has got a little bit stuck to the plate. Now you're just going to mix. You know what? This is really silly. Try and use a big spoon. And our oven just went off. So that's a little note. Start to preheat your oven to 350. Okay, so we're stirring all our dry ingredients together. Lovely jubbly. Now we are going to add our wet ingredients. So what you're going to do is you're going to crack on in 4 eggs. Now, if you're a vegan or you don't eat eggs for any reason, you can try making this with a flax or a chia egg. Just make sure the ratio is the same. Okay, 4 eggs in there. Look at those gorgeous orange yolks. That's how you know these come from healthy pasture-raised chickens. Next up is our coconut milk. So pouring that in there. Gosh, coconut milk is probably one of my favorite ingredients for baking and actually cooking in general. I use it in curries a lot. I make homemade coffee creamer out of this stuff. It's really affordable, packed with healthy fats, and it's delicious. We're going to also be throwing in our coconut oil. Make sure that it's melted prior, and then in goes our cup of water. And then we've got our yogurt, or as I said, your apple cider vinegar. You can use white vinegar in here, but it may come through a little bit. Whereas apple cider vinegar kind of has those fruity notes, so it's kind of blends nicely. But I love to use yogurt. And then, of course, we can't forget our vanilla extract. 2 teaspoons, in it goes. Perfect. And as I said, you guys can use the snazzy KitchenAid if you want, or you can just stir it together with a spoon. Oh, it's coming together nicely. Might take a little bit of arm work. And so this is going to be a multi-tiered cake. Me personally, I just grew up eating cakes that were multi-tiered. I was a big baker as a child. I used to bake with my mum and my granny. We're kind of a family who loves to bake, and it's just, I guess, the English way to have cake on the table all the time. There's a lot of batter because we like to make them tiered and put delicious frosting. And I'm really, really excited to be sharing the frosting with you guys today. I think you're going to love it. I have tried so many frosting recipes, especially like the healthier ones. This one just doesn't compare to the others, and it has an ingredient that you probably wouldn't think is in there, so make sure you guys stick around and we will be making the frosting together. So my batter is nice and smooth and everything is mixed. And we are going to pop this batter into 2 cake tins. I like to grease mine lightly with coconut oil, but you can, of course, line it with parchment paper. Just try and make sure it's unbleached. I'm going to move this out the way. And grab my cake pans and then just pour the batter in evenly between each one. Make sure you get, oh, every last drop. I'm flinging it everywhere. Maybe that's a little excuse to eat the batter. Just kidding, we don't do that. All right, I can probably get more out of there, which is why I found my trusty spatula. You've got to try it. Oh my gosh, so good. Just kidding, we don't do that. Bloody delicious. You guys are going to love it. You've got to make this cake. Okay, here we go. Let's get the last out of it, and we'll get these in the oven. Gosh, look at that. Spatulas are a phenomenal invention. Okay, just smooth it over. Make sure that everything is nice and neat. And then I would just get off these bits at the side and use it as an excuse to eat it, of course. Smooth these out. Beautiful. Good stuff. Okay, so they're smooth, they're in their tins, they're ready to rock. What we're going to do now is pop these guys into the oven at 350 for about 30 minutes until a toothpick comes out clean. All right, I will see you guys in 30 minutes once these bad boys are cooked through. Alrighty guys, the cakes are in the oven cooking away. My house smells absolutely divine. So in the meantime, let's make our chocolate frosting. So what you're going to do is grab your bowl of your KitchenAid or food mixer, and you're going to add 1 cup of coconut oil or butter. Now make sure this is very, very soft, whichever one you use. I'm actually using a mixture of the two, so popping that in there. You want it to be nice and soft to really be able to whip it into a frosting. You're also going to be adding, and this is our secret ingredient, 1 cup of almond butter. Now you can, of course, if you're allergic to almonds, use a different nut butter of your choice. Sun butter is also a good one. Just any nut butter here. And then we're going to beat these two together. So really just mixing them really nicely so they go a little bit fluffy. So they've really mixed together. Oh, this is going to spill everywhere. Now what you're going to do if you're making a chocolate frosting like I am, you are going to add 1/3 cup of unsweetened cocoa powder, and then you're also going to add your sweetener. Now I am using 2 tablespoons of the Swerve sweetener I used before, so pop that in. And then you are going to mix these back together. You may need to just stop it and then, scrape down the sides so you're getting absolutely everything in there. Popping that back in. Really tastes delicious. Okay, so everything is mixed together really nicely. It's looking like a frosting already, but what I really like to do here is actually add a little bit of almond milk or nut milk, whatever one you fancy, and just keep whisking it together a little bit. It will become a little bit more liquidy, but then we're going to pop it in the fridge. So I start off with about 2 tablespoons of nut milk, but I go up to about 1/4 of a cup, depending on how you like it, the consistency. So I'm whisking, slowly adding some unsweetened milk here. Nice. Wonderful. It actually is so perfect right now. I'm still going to pop this into the fridge just for a little bit to harden up. That is so good. You literally would never tell that there's no like sugar and all sorts of the weird stuff that they put in the store brand ones, like hydrogenated oils and stabilizers and strange things. Let me just show you guys. As you can see, it's like really whippy and fabulous. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pop this into the fridge just for a little bit. Once your cakes are cooked and the toothpick comes out clean, let your cakes cool completely, whether that's 30 minutes, an hour, whatever it takes for you. I'm going to put this in for about 10 minutes, this frosting, and then pull it out and just set it to the side. And then we'll meet back here and we will frost our cakes. Well, there you have it, guys. A grain-free, refined, sugar-free, absolutely delicious chocolate fudgy cake. Perfect for any occasion, holiday, bridal shower, wedding even, whatever you fancy. I hope you guys enjoy it. If you do make this recipe, I would love to see your creations. Please pop a photo or some comments in the comment section below. If you are interested in more recipe videos, culinary tips, workouts, we've got it all. Please make sure that you subscribe to the Metabolic Living channel. Also make sure that you head over to other social media platforms like Instagram, Facebook and more at Metabolic Living to follow us on there too. We post new content all the time and would hate for you guys to miss out. Thanks so much for tuning in today. I hope you enjoy your delicious cake. Have a wonderful day and I will see you all very, very soon. Look at that. That is amazing.